The letter is out. Here's the good news. The Yankees have been telling you the truth all along. The contents of the letter do not implicate the New York Yankees in the same manner that the Houston Astros were implicated for sign stealing back in 2017. It does, however, indicate that the Yankees were stealing signs in 2015 and 16, but by different means. They were not using the Yes Network center field camera. They were using the video replay room to decipher the code of, the hand signals for pitches. They were fined $100,000. That money went to Hurricane Irma relief through Major League Baseball charities. And it's did they steal signs? Yeah.
Nothing burger.
A nothing burger.
This is a nothing burger. We've heard for weeks and weeks about this letter. This letter that the Yankees were fighting to. We can't have this be public. Well, now it's public. I've read the letter.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's I wonder why they just didn't come out and say what it was. Well, because the Yankees fighting it made it seem like it was going to be a much bigger deal.
That's the thing I don't fully understand. Now, you're going to find some who despise the Yankees who are going to say, oh, look what they did.
Yeah.
I've read what they did. It's nothing compared to the Houston Astros. It's just, it's nothing. And you know what also contributes to the nothing of it? In 2015, they were in a wild card game and they lost. In 2016, they didn't make the playoffs to the point where they were trading guys off.
Right.
Fair or not, results matter. The reason we're so outraged about the Astros is because they won the World Series.
Yep.
When you're stealing signs in some kind of way, if you don't win, I don't know, it's easy to move on. It's like the White Sox in the early 80s. There were stories, Bobby V once brought this up, that the White Sox used to flash lights on their scoreboard to help steal signs. And the reason why that story went away real quick is it's because, the White Sox, they didn't win anything. Stealing signs, Giants, Dodgers, 1951, Bobby Thompson, big deal because the Giants won. But when you're a loser, not to call the Yankees losers, but in those seasons they didn't win, it's tough to be that aggravated about it. Plus what they did is nothing compared to what the Astros were doing, where they were getting real-time signs with guys on base, guys not on base. The Yankees weren't doing this, and they were cleared of the Yes Network using any cameras to steal signs.
Which was a big one, because that's in theory how Houston did it, by using the center field camera. Here's the thing that's going to bother you the most, though. There's a rat. Because in the letter that was written directly to Brian Cashman, it says, and I'm quoting now, during our investigation into the Red Sox's misconduct, blank, redacted name, informed the Department of Investigations that the Yankees used a similar scheme to that of the Red Sox. How about that?
You call that person a rat?
That's a rat. Oh, the Red Sox, they're not the only ones doing it. The Yankees did it too.
Yeah, but who's the rat? Someone who works for the Red Sox or for the Yankees?
Had to have worked for the Yankees.
But they're investigating the Red Sox because of something the Yankees... So you got to find
someone that maybe worked for both. That might be possible. I don't know.
Interesting.
This other redacted name could be the same name. We don't know. Initially noticed that the Red Sox were using a smartwatch to pass information to the players. This rat admitted to the Department of Investigations that during the 2015 season and the first half of the 2016 season, someone else provided info about opposing club signs to players and members of the coaching staff in the replay room at Yankee Stadium. That info was then physically relayed to the Yankee dugout.
But then when was it relayed to the batter? Was it ever relayed to the batter? Because you could have all the signs in the world. If the batter's not getting a benefit from it, what are you doing?
They also claim that when they were in stadiums in which the video replay room was not near the dugout, they would use the dugout phone to relay the information.
But how did they then use the signs they were getting?
Like, how did they get it to the guy on second, to the guy at bat?
Right. And was it only with a guy on second base? Because now you're limiting those opportunities to when there's a guy on second. And as Big Mac pointed out yesterday, when there's a guy on second, they're usually changing their signs anyway because they know the runner on second may be able to pick up the signs and give hand signals to the batter.
So I guess it comes down to this. It's not what Houston did by MLB's own investigation, but they made an attempt to steal signs.
Yeah, but the answer to that is everybody has.
Okay, so then there's...
To different extents, obviously.
Right, so then it's only out there because it's the Yankees, right? Like as the Yankees said, where's the letter to the Red Sox? That's not public.
Yeah, but the Red Sox already got in trouble for their sign
They want
stealing.
the letter out there. They want, let's
Yeah,
see the
hold
same
on.
letter.
Craig, the Red Sox were already investigated for what they did in 2018, and we all know about it. And nothing came back that turned out to be a smoking gun. That's why no one says the Red Sox championship in 18 was a fraudulent title.
Well, in the letter here it does.
No, but to the public. None of us talk about the
right.
Reds. Even Yankee fans. I haven't heard a Yankee fan say the Red Sox didn't win in 18. It was fraudulent. I haven't heard that. Have you heard that?
Well,
no, you haven't.
We haven't heard it, but it might be factual.
No, stop it. It's not factual.
Well, why not?
Because if Yankee fans...
It says in the letter that the Red Sox did it in 2018, the year they won the World Series.
We already knew about that, though. That's my point. MLB investigated it. It was already out there. They were virtually cleared. And even Yankee fans, the most ardent Yankee fan like a Big Mac, doesn't sit there and say, the Red Sox really didn't win in 18. It was a fraud
let me just read this
championship.
line just so I have it out there, then we can dismiss it if you want to. Boston relayed sign sequences to runners on second base during the 2018 season when they won the World Series.
We knew that already.
Okay, so I just want to say it's in this letter.
This was already investigated.
Okay. That doesn't bother you? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, not really, no. Because I assumed everyone was doing it, and
got it.
Teams are on their game when they know the runners at second
Are
base.
you bothered by any aspect? I know you haven't read it yourself yet, but from what we've put out there as a Yankee fan, does this acknowledgement change in any way, shape, or form how you feel about Brian Cashman's comments about Houston?
No.
How about you?
No, because Cashman just needs to move on.
Yeah.
And not blame that series loss on the stealing of signs. We know the Astros steal signs.
Right.
Like, I acknowledge that. We all acknowledge it. But I think when you look at what happened in that series, it's tough to just point to the sign stealing and say, that's why we lost. We're truly American League champions. This is all BS.
And also with Cashman's comments, I said it at the time. I think a lot of us said it at the time. We knew the Yankees were doing something.
Right.
They were looking at video in the back room. Like, everybody was doing it. The Yankees are no better. They had this spat with the Red Sox. I thought from the beginning his comments were stupid because the Yankees were doing something along those lines.
But to me, so I'm just
Not
playing
maybe
this
as
out
bad,
pragmatically for a second. We all agree that this letter, not that it exonerates the Yankees, it puts the Yankees in a better light than what the worst case scenario was. We can agree to that, right?
Right. I think it highlights the Astros and how much further they took it.
But you know what? He nailed it.
Okay.
This makes the Astros look even worse.
So let me ask a pragmatic question.
Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Even all the other teams, everybody was doing it. We always say that. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing it far less.
Okay.
In a far less damaging way than the Astros.
So,
if anything, this letter makes the Astros look worse.
Here's, like, when you complain about something and argue something, especially in open court, federal court, you're calling attention to something that might otherwise have no attention, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, if Judge Rakoff, who's the federal judge that ordered that this letter be released, if the Yankees never said a word about it, like any other federal case, Discovery is put out there. Mm-hmm. There's a website you could pay money to go read Discovery. I've lived it. I've seen it, right?
Sure.
But no one knows it exists because who's paying attention? So what I'm trying to figure out, just pragmatically, why would the Yankees spend so much of their time and effort fighting it?
I don't get it, bro. Unless you want to tell me it's a precedent thing, that they don't want to allow this to be a precedent, I completely agree with you. If this letter came out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the Yankees don't fight, it just shows up on our doorstep.
I don't think we ever would have known.
No, it becomes a story. We talk about it for 30 seconds. We say, yeah, there's nothing to this letter. Let's move on.
Right, because if I'm the Yankees, if you just say even one line, the letter's a whole bunch of nothing burger.
Right.
Release it. We don't care.
Yeah.
It goes away.
And that's but they did essentially say that. They said that while simultaneously fighting it, which never made sense to me.
They went to appeals court. They had a lawyer show up and argue against it.
Craig, is it deeper than just the letter? Like, is it a precedent thing that they didn't want this to happen down the road when maybe
somebody else?
No, to them, if there's something that's even worse than this.
I mean, it is a precedent-setting issue because they weren't even a party to the lawsuit.
Right.
The lawsuit's got nothing to do with them. It was an add-on that had nothing to do with the case.
I'm sorry. I know that there are a lot of Yankee haters out there. Like, Loogie's a big Yankee. You can't be moved by this. I'm sorry. There's nothing in this letter that's going to make you say, see, bunch of hypocrites. There's nothing. There's nothing there. And what does Jeff Passan listen to the show now? He just tweeted out it's a nothing burger. Stealing my lines.
I mean, it happens.
It's a nothing burger.
We both watch cable news. Congratulations.
Touche.
Do you know who coined the term nothing burger?
Who coined it? I think
Yeah.
Fox News did.
No, I don't think so,
I think it started there.
I don't believe it did.
Do you remember the first time I brought up nothing burger on the air and you denied it existed? Do you remember
Me?
that? Yeah, you said that's not a thing. You just made it up. And I said, no, it's from cable news. And
Come on
you
now.
fought with me for an entire segment. Big Mac backed me up. You wouldn't give in. And then you casually moved on and said, yeah, so it's a thing.
If I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Van Jones coin the term nothing burger?
We've gone over this already. Yes.
But on CNN.
After you fought me tooth and nail that it wasn't a thing,
Yeah.
you did research and said, you know what, guys?
From Reform Alliance, and he's obviously a very well thought of
And
commentator.
then you told me like you're friends with Van Jones or something.
Well, I wouldn't say friends, but acquaintances.
See, this happened before.
Yeah.
Yes. It
He's
started
my
with, we were
acquaintance.
talking about points, like 50 burger, 40 burger,
That's
and then you
it,
said
yeah.
nothing burger.
Right.
And you said, no, there's no such thing as
No
a nothing
such thing
burger.
as a nothing burger?
You said that. Yeah.
I said that?
Yes.
Well, there is. But I think Van Jones created it.
Either way,
I want to be
this-
clear. He and I are not like friends. We are acquaintances.
But you know him.
I do know him, yeah.
If he saw you walking down the street, he'd say, "Hey, Craig,
no, he
what
would
up?"
not. No. Uh-uh.
Oh, you wouldn't
No.
even know who you are?
50-50 on that, but we know each other.
Okay.
Yes. He actually gave me great counsel before I went away.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yes. And he founded, along with Jay-Z and Michael Rubin and Robert Kraft and Meek Mill, the Reform Alliance.
Gotcha.
Which is doing amazing work nationwide to help people on probation.
Okay.
They're doing a great service to America in that regard. And to the downtrodden who live a long time under these very strict probationary rules, coast to coast.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I think he created the term nothing burger.
Either way, do we all agree universally, because we don't agree on much,
I
that
don't.
this letter is a nothing burger?
I don't agree with it.
What do you think?
I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we move on
So
from
then
it.
what do you take out of it?
Well, I mean, here's why I can't say it's a quote-unquote nothing burger. And they stole signs.
Yeah, but I do think that level of stealing signs is very, very common
Okay.
and not impactful to the results of games. The way I think we could look at the Astros, who we have evidence, we can see at bats.
Yeah.
Where a sound is made to
Yeah.
signify the kind of pitch that's coming.
Agreed. So
we
I guess
can't see the direct impact of the Red Sox, the Yankees, and God knows what other team was stealing signs.
well, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be the way the Yankees protested its release. So I'll definitely give you that. But if I asked you just a direct question, I said, here are the rules, Evan. You have to say yes or no. There's no other answers allowed.
Okay.
For the sake of this exercise.
I'll play.
All right. Did the Yankees steal signs?
Yeah.
Did the Astros steal signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all created equal, though. It's not created equal.
What they do with the information
Did
might
I
not
commit
be
a
equal.
crime? Did he commit a crime? The crimes could be different.
No, they both stole signs.
Oh, no. But if I just universally say, did this person commit a crime? Yes.
Hold on.
Did
Same
that
crime,
person
though.
commit? No.
It's the same crime.
It's different level to the crime.
Hold on. If both crimes are stealing signs
There's a different level to the crime.
because of how they relayed the information
because of the
or how they
lace-
got the information.
how they got it, how it was used,
All right, so
the evidence of how it
Let's
was
just
used.
have fun for a second. Let's go one step at a time, right? Because it appeases my brain. All right. So the crime is stealing signs. We agree on that. That's the crime here. All right. Does it matter the manner in which you stole the signs, provided that you both had access to the information?
Does it matter how you stole the
Yeah.
signs? Like if
Yeah.
it was cameras or whatnot?
Yeah.
I think it all contributes to it, yeah.
But at the end of the day, they both acquired stolen signs.
Yeah, but we have evidence
Go
of
ahead.
how the Astros used it
Okay, so that's the
compared
next
to
question.
the Yankees and the Red
So
Sox.
the next question is, are we really upset, or is the big difference here not the stealing of the signs, the manner in which they relayed the
the
information?
execution of the signs. Like, for example, one thing out of this letter is that the Yankees only were, we don't have evidence that this was even the case, when there was a runner on second. In the Astros case, it
Right.
could have been all the time.
Yeah, we don't know.
It could have been every at-bat Jose Altuve or Marwin Gonzalez or Alex Bregman had that season. There's just more widespread evidence of how it was used and how
to
it was
me,
executed.
I'm with you guys in lockstep. If it's about the manner in which you disseminated the information you stole, Yeah, Houston's Al Capone. I'm with you on that. But if you're going back to what the actual accusation was, did you steal signs or not?
But the other problem is, Craig,
Go
that you're
ahead.
leaving out is I believe.
Why am I missing something on that?
Because here's what you're missing.
Go ahead.
I believe not that, well, everyone's doing it makes it okay, but I think the kind of sign stealing the Yankees were involved in, the Red Sox were involved in, a lot of teams are involved in.
Okay.
The level to where the Astros went is what's different.
Which specifically is the garbage can?
No, it's the fact that guys are getting signs in real time. Not just occasionally there's a guy on second, and the guy on second's making a hand signal to the batter, which has been going on for 100 years.
So you believe, based on giving a quick perusal of the letter, that the only time the Yankees used the information when there was a man on second base?
That's the way it was reported, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Did you read the letter?
Are we that naive?
That's literally what the letter said.
That's what the letter says, dude.
So we're stealing all this information, but we're only using it when there's a guy on second base?
That's the only time they could use it because they didn't have an execution plan the way the Astros did. How else were they getting the signs to the batters?
Yeah, well, to be fair,
Craig,
they're not accused of it. You're
Craig,
right.
if you provide the evidence, it'll change our opinions.
Yeah.
But until you do, that's the thing about the Astros. We have the evidence. We've seen it. We can watch it on YouTube right now.
Because I don't want to be naive here.
Where guys are getting signs.
I don't want to be naive that the Yankees are willing to go to those lengths to steal signs, which they're apparently admitting. And wrote a check for $100,000 to Hurricane Irma relief in 2017. But the only time they're using the information they stole.
Not because they're good, not because they're noble, because they weren't as good as the Houston Astros were
that's a
at
better answer for
executing
me.
this. The Astros were the best at this.
So they didn't know. They couldn't. So what you're saying is that they couldn't figure out how to disseminate the information.
Or maybe, I wouldn't phrase it that way, Craig. Here's how I'd phrase it. Maybe the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees weren't as arrogant to think that they could bang on an effing garbage can to give signs to players in plain sight.
Yeah, that's what-
Maybe the New York Yankees said to themselves, we'd obviously get caught.
Right.
Why would we do that? Why would we commit the crime in front of 40,000 people?
We're going to rob the bank, but we're not going to spend any of the money.
No, but you're missing my point.
Yeah. It's like getting a stock tip and not acting on it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just getting the information isn't necessarily a crime, but if you put $500 towards that tip or $5 million
That's a good example. That's a fair comparison.
But the Houston Astros executed this better.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm asking the question,
and I'm not
because
telling you the Yankees.
You asked me a question.
The
So
Yankees
is it a
and
nothing burger or not?
The Yankees and Red Sox are not noble franchises. They're just not as sneaky evil as the Houston Astros are.
Yeah. Well, I think we're in lockstep on that.
And here's the other step.
But to be fair, if I'm the Astros or any team, if I've got that access, I might as well use it.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Right?
But some teams get this letter and say, all right, let's cool it. Some teams get this letter and they say, you know what? Let's up the ante. The banging of the drums worked. Let's put something in people's ears or let's put buzzers on them.
Sure.
And that's the part of the story that we need to know that we still don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have lunch next week with Manfred and I'll ask him.
Ask him.
I will. You make a list of things you want me to ask.
It's crazy to say that's towards the top, but I really think it is. I'm over the lockout. That's done.
Yeah, because
Lockout's
they're
over.
playing baseball.
We got baseball.
Yeah, you good for the next 5 years, you leave it alone. But in 5 years, you'll be yelling at me. If you have lunch with Manfred, you ask him this.
Wow. Did you hear that?
What?
Craig did something he's never done before.
Yeah.
He referenced us in the next 5 years. Usually it's, I'll be working somewhere else. You'll be working somewhere else. Today was the first time Craig envisioned a world 5 years from now where we're all together.
Well, you missed something there, body language thing.
Go ahead.
You didn't pick up on it. See, and I'm glad you just said that.
Go ahead.
When I just did the fake Evan Roberts, I want you to tell me what Manfred is, all right?
Yeah.
What did I do? Where did my left hand go?
I have no idea.
I'm going to reenact it for you.
I'll watch it.
Hey, Craig.
Oh, on the phone?
If you have lunch with Manfred, tell him this.
I didn't see that. I think you added that late.